Hello everyone and welcome to my CBS GH spoiler channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. General Hospital, Monday, March 9th, 2026. Brooklyn's clue finally exposes the killer's dark secret, and Port Charles will never be the same. You won't believe what happened in today's jaw-dropping episode. Fans are already calling it the most shocking hour in General Hospital history, and they are not wrong. The clock had barely struck 8 a.m. at General Hospital when the hallways of Port Charles's most storied institution crackled with a tension so thick you could cut it with a scalpel. Nurses whispered. Doctors exchanged loaded glances over coffee cups. Something was coming. Something had been building for months, and today, Monday, March 9th, 2026, was the day the dam finally broke. It started, as it so often does in this town, with Lynn Quartermain. She arrived at the hospital looking like she hadn't slept in 3 days, because she hadn't. Her dark eyes were rimmed red, her signature confident stride replaced by something more urgent, more desperate. In her hand, she clutched a small ivory envelope, edges worn from the dozens of times she'd opened and refolded its contents in the dead of night. She'd found it hidden behind a loose panel in the back of the Quartermain boathouse, tucked away where no one was ever supposed to look. But Lynn had always been the one who looked. She cornered her grandmother, Tracy Quartermain, near the elevator on the 4th floor, and what unfolded next was the kind of conversation that makes soap opera history. Tracy went pale, actually pale, which longtime fans know is nothing short of a seismic event for a woman who once stared down a Cassidide yacht with nothing but a martini and sheer contempt. The envelope contained a handwritten letter, and that letter named a killer. The name? You'll have to keep reading. Meanwhile, across town at the PCPD, Detective Dante Falconeri was running out of time. The case had gone cold, officially. 3 victims, no arrests, a city on edge, and a commissioner breathing down his neck. But Dante had never been good at giving up, especially not when the victims included people he loved. He stared at the evidence board, eyes tracing the same invisible thread he'd been chasing for weeks when his phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Stop looking at the board. Look at who's standing right behind you. He spun. The hallway was empty. But on the floor, pressed against the baseboard as if it had been slid deliberately under the door, was a photograph. Dante crouched down, picked it up with a gloved hand, and felt the blood drain from his face. It was the photo of the killer, taken at the scene, and the killer was smiling directly into the camera. Back at GH, Lynn had made her decision. She wasn't going to Tracy or the family. She wasn't going to wait for the right moment, the right lawyer, the right anything. She marched straight to Dr. Patrick Drake's old office, now repurposed as a quiet consultation room, where she found the one person she trusted with this, Lois Cerullo. The reunion between mother and daughter was electric, tender, and devastatingly brief. Lynn pressed the letter into Lois's hands and said 4 words that stopped every fan's heart dead. "Mom, I saw them." Lois read the letter. Her face moved through shock, disbelief, fury, and finally, heartbreak. Because the name on that letter wasn't a stranger. It wasn't a Cassidine or a Jerome or some shadowy figure from Port Charles's criminal underbelly. It was someone who had sat at their table, someone who had been trusted, welcomed, embraced. Someone in their inner circle had been hiding a monstrous secret for years. The episode's most explosive scene, however, came in the final act. Lucy Coe, God bless her eternal chaos, had done what Lucy Coe always does. She'd gotten herself into an impossible situation by trying to do the right thing through entirely the wrong means. She'd been secretly recording conversations at the Haunted Star for weeks, convinced that something sinister was hiding behind all the glittering lights and champagne toasts. And today, she played one of those recordings to Max Scopio. What came through that phone speaker, tinny and slightly muffled but unmistakably clear, was a confession. Not a full one, not the kind that holds up in court on its own, but enough. Enough to confirm everything Lynn's letter had suggested. Enough to make Max set down his coffee, pick up his badge, and make a call. The kind of call that ends with squad cars and sirens and someone in handcuffs who never believed this day would come. Port Charles erupted. The hospital corridors became a war zone of whispered accusations and stunned silences. Monica Quartermain, regal and immovable as ever, stood at the nurse's station and said nothing, but the look on her face said everything. Carly Corinthius, who has a supernatural ability to be at the center of every major Port Charles event, arrived breathless and wild-eyed, grabbing Bobby Jones's arm and demanding to know if what she'd just heard on the radio scanner was true. It was. Sonny Corinthius, ever the man who knows things before they happen, was already gone. His penthouse dark, his guards dismissed, his whereabouts unknown. Whether that means he's running, hunting, or protecting someone, well, that's the question that's going to haunt every fan from now until Friday. As the episode drew to its gut-wrenching close, Lynn stood alone on the hospital rooftop, a cold Port Charles wind cutting through her coat, and looked out over the city she had fought for, fled from, and come back to more times than she could count. She'd done the right thing. She'd pulled the thread. Now the whole sweater was unraveling. And as the camera slowly pulled back, a shadow fell across the rooftop doorway behind her. Someone had followed her up. Someone who knew what she'd done. Lynn didn't hear the door open. The screen went dark. Fans lost their minds. Tomorrow on General Hospital, Dante closes in, but is he already too late? Lois makes a desperate call, and the killer takes their most dangerous gamble yet. Don't miss it. Subscribe, share, and drop your predictions in the comments below, because in Port Charles, the truth always comes out, but never without a price.